Hi and welcome, my name is Lawrence Baker and this video is going to be about the Radial Filter tool inside of Lightroom Classic. Tools, Radial Filter, it's already ticked, Shift and M. Come here, I can also turn it on and off from there. Shift and M going now, there's my crosshair. If I press the Command and Control key, double click, it will fill up the whole image. Backspace to delete, let's create a new one, like so. Come inside, press the Command and Control key, double click, it will fill up the whole image. If I made some changes, I like them, double click, without the Control key or Command key, it will accept the changes and close it down. Shift M, you can see the unselected pin there. Let's select it now, let's delete it. I want to sort of give this area some more presence, so I'm going to click and drag out. If I kept the Shift key pressed, I will create a perfect circle. If I let go, I'm creating an elliptical shape. You can go outside the canvas as well. These are the four handles. That's the pin which is selected. If I move one of these handles like so, the other side moves in unison. Move it in, the other side moves in as well. If you press the Alt or Option key, you can move one side independent of the other side. Simple as. If you press the Shift key, you'll be preserving the shape or the aspect ratio, like so. If you come outside, you can rotate it, like so. You come inside, you can move it around like so. If you mouse over the pin and stay long enough, you'll see the adjustment mask overlay. And where it's redder or where it's more opaque is where the filter will be having its most effect. Tools, tool overlay, auto show. If you come here, you'll see the pin and the overlay. Come out to the panel or turn it off. You can also change it down here as well, back to always. Tools, tool overlay, always show, Shift, Command and Control H. That's the best way to be when you're new to this tool, in my opinion. Show selected, well, I'll show how it works. New Radial Filter, click there, drag out. So you can see it there. If I go to Tools, Tool Overlay, and Show Selected, you won't see the non-selected one, just a selected one. Tools, Tool Overlay, never show, H. That means you won't see anything. So if I went new now, I went like that, I can't see what I'm doing. So H on my keyboard brings it back to auto. So H again, never. H again, auto. Can be useful, but I prefer, and for this video, I will actually use it on always show. I'll delete those ones now, I don't need them. Let's click back on that one. Tools, adjustment mask overlay, which we saw in red. We can have green, white or black. Show overlay, O on your keyboard, or you can come down here and tick it as well. So, show overlay, O on the keyboard. So try and remember the keyboard shortcut, it is useful. Shift and O will take you through the different colours. Green, Shift and O going again, white, black, and back to red. If I tick invert here, I'll be working on the inside of the overlay. Apostrophe key will do the same thing, off and on. Feather works like this, on 0, there'll be a very harsh transition between the outside and the inside. So the feather on 50, or around that, it'll be sort of going towards the edges, it will get sort of less and less. I do like the feather. I think it's a very good thing about this tool. It makes me use it more than using, let's say, the adjustment brush because of this feathering is so nice towards the edge. I want to work on the inside. Range mask would come to. I'm going to turn that overlay or mask overlay off by pressing O on my keyboard. I don't want to spend too much time here. Highlights down to blacks works like this. That's the whites there. That's the highlights there. That's overall exposure. That's shadows. That's blacks. So those sliders there, when you move them, will be working in those narrow areas. Exposure really, though it says it's there, is overall brightness. That's the temperature, warmer, colder, greener, magenta, to get rid of colour cast. I'm going to make it slightly warmer, just a bit. Exposure up a bit. You can also come here, notice the hand symbol with the double-headed arrow. You can drag like so. You can click inside and use the up and down arrow keys. Shift key kept pressed will move it in larger increments. I've let go of the shift key now. I'm probably going to leave it around there. Contrast, well, it's pretty obvious. It makes the blacks blacker and the whites whiter, and it works mainly around 50% grey. So, you know, contrast is an obvious thing. So if I bring it to the right, I'll give it more contrast. If I take it to the left, it will take away the contrast. Tiny amount there. Highlights up a small amount as well. Shadows up quite a small amount. I don't want an obvious drop off too much. So whites and blacks, no, because blacks works there and whites works on there. I don't need to use it. Clarity, Z or Z on my keyboard to zoom back out. The zoom level's not working. F7 over here, come to 1:1. If you go Command and minus, I'll go back to fit. Command plus will take me back to 1:4. I picked the 1:4 myself. So Command minus going now, or Control minus, depending on the system you're on. So 1:1. Let's close the left-hand side panel down because I don't need it. Clarity is about local contrast, really, and it can add in halos. That's why I zoomed in at 1:1. So I'm being very careful how I use it. About 20 will do. Dehaze gets rid of haze. It's a dangerous tool because it can basically shift colours, and I'm not going to use it. If I wanted to use it, I should have probably used it on the basic panel here. But, you know, if you do use it, it will shift the colours. So I don't need it here. Though there's a lot of haze, I don't think it's appropriate. Saturation, I want to make it a little bit more saturated, not too much. Sharpness, again, you should be zoomed in at 1:1, and just a small amount of sharpness, probably around 9 or 10, because I've already sharpened the image anyway. I've already got rid of the noise. This gets rid of luminance noise if you move it to the right, so I might put it on 13 or something. Moire gets rid of colour noise if you move the slider to the right. We don't have colour noise. Defringe, I've had a colour fringing around the edge of this. I could get rid of it with that slider. Best place to do that is with the lens correction panel. Anyway, colour to add colour in. So I want a bit of a greeny tint to those waves. I can select it there. Z or Z to zoom back out. If you're inside a tool, you can't use the spacebar. So Z or Z will be your friend. Right. That's okay. It's not perfect. I might drag it out a little bit more. That way. Drag it down a bit that way. I've got the Alt or Option key pressed, so I don't want to go into that area above. So I'm just going to drag it down like so. So there's not a sort of harsh layoff. I might bring the feather up a little bit more as well, actually. O for mask overlay. Let's see. Yeah, it's not too bad. I might drag that off the canvas as well, just a little bit more. And bring that up a little bit, actually. I will go above the wave level. And down there a bit. O for the mask overlay to turn it off. That's that. Let's see what it looks like off. Let's turn it off here. Before, after. Okay, not perfect, but okay. Alt or Option key pressed. I'm going to drag that bit back as well. You could even go F7 and put it down to 1:8, let's say. Alt or Option key and drag it back even more if you want to. Well, so I'm covering that little wave there. Let's cover it. There you are, I've done it. Back to fit. If I press Z or Z now, I'll go back to that 1:8. So I really should put it on another zoom setting, like 2:1 or something. So Z or Z now, fit, 2:1. I actually want it on fit, so I'm going to stay on fit. F7 to lose that left-hand side panel. So that's okay. I'm quite happy with that. I could reset it and start from scratch. You can see I turned it off there. Now, range mask, I'm going to show it to you on luminosity first. It's not my favourite place to use the range mask. I prefer using it on the graduated filter. Now, the range is currently going from 0, which is black, to 100. So I'm not restricting the range of this filter at all. So if white's 100 and I start moving that black slider, which is currently on 0, when I say black slider, I mean this slider here, the left slider. If I press the Alt or Option key, I'll see a grayscale mask as I do this. And it's showing me where the effect will be. And where it's whiter, the effect will be stronger. So I'm dragging up now, I'm going up to about 40% grey. So anything below 40% grey, anything darker will not be affected by this. It's a bit counterintuitive. As it gets whiter, it's where I'm going to affect. Now, if I go right up to something like that, I'm hardly affecting anything. Now, smoothness works like this. On 0, there'll be a very blocky transitions between the edges of the different areas of luminosity. As I bring this up, you can see it's smoothing it off. It's taking its time to update, but that's what it's basically doing. So you can see it working now. If I let go of everything and see what I've done, if I put the mask overlay back on by pressing O, you'll see most of it has disappeared. You can hardly see it at all. It is there though. But if I bring this back down to 0, the mask overlay will appear. So you've got the idea. I was working on a very small area of the image. Now for the color range one, I'm going to use a different image. So let's go to the brushes now. Let's press O for overlay to turn off the mask overlay and go to the brushes. You can go Shift T to go to the brushes. You're not going to remember that, but anyway. A and B, add. Erase takes away. O for the mask overlay. Got a massive brush there. I'm going to make it smaller. A and B, add. So if I wanted to add more red in, I could add it in like with the A and B brush. The size you can see there is pretty large. Left-hand square bracket key will make it smaller. Right will make it bigger. The outer ring is the feather. Shift and square bracket keys will change the width of the feathering of the brush. Flow is about how much you're laying down each stroke. Click, drag, let go. That's one bit of flow. I'm currently laying 100% down, so maximum. It works with density. For density, think opacity. This is very opaque in the middle, but less opaque at the outside. So that's what it's all about. So if I were to work in that area sort of there, let's say, I would have the density set quite low or opacity set quite low. Flow works like this. If I put it on 50, let's say, I would have to put 2 strokes down before I equal the density. So one would be like 50%, then the next one on top of it will bring it to, this 100% density. If I set density to 50 and keep the flow on 50, 2 strokes will equal that density there, that opacity. You will not break the density. No matter what you do with flow, you will not break what's set in density, no matter what. If you quickly want to go to the erase brush, Alt Option key pressed, you can erase away parts of this or any mistakes you made. If you're on the erase brush, press Alt, you go to the B and A brush, or the last brush you used, it will go back to. If you press the / key, you'll go between the A and B brush. Auto Mask does its best to stay to edges. If I painted near that edge, it will respect the edge. So if most of the brush is inside that edge, it will keep the effect to this edge there. It's really useful. I'm not running it down, the range mask, but I find it really great on graduated filters. With the Radial Filter, not so much use. That's it for the brushes. Let's go to another image. Let's turn this off, the mask overlay, and I've got some flowers here. I'm already on the Radial Filter. I can see that highlighted. Command or Control key, clicked, or press down, double click. It's filled up the whole image. I need to invert it to work on the inside. What I'm going to do is select the green, make it unsaturated, desaturate the green. So color, eyedropper tool, click it, come out. Click down once, you're sampling one color. If you click down again, you're losing the first one. So if you want to add, press the Shift key. If you click and drag, you're sampling a range of colors, which I want to do. Shift key pressed, see the plus symbol. That means I can add in more colors, like so. I'm going to get rid of that color there and that color there. And on that stalk there as well. So just go around sampling. That'll do. Let's take the saturation right down. And you can see it's got rid, depending on the strength of the mask overlay. I need to get rid of some more colors actually. So Shift key kept pressed. I'm going to get rid of that one there and those there. I didn't really get all the colors. That's it working. So if you bring the feather down actually, right down, you can see what I've done. Now if I want to sort of take away the radial filter effect, I can come to the brush, A or B, put it on 100 flow and 100 density and just paint out those areas. I know that takes away from the radial filter, but you can do that if you want to. So that's it, guys. That's the color range used. Back to my original image. There's it on. Let's click on it. Off and on. Off. On. / key. Out of camera. After a quick develop and a radial filter, I got it to that. Not bad. That's it, guys. Thanks very much.